Good evening. Okay, I think we're live now. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Like I say every time, depending on where you're watching from across the world. So my name is Femi Owoyele, and I'm your host this evening again for Nation Building Series. It promises to be a beautiful night again, because this night it won't just be the usual system where we pick on a topic, then I share. I'd like to know if anyone that is on, just say hello as you join, so I'm sure that I'm not here alone. So let's move on quickly. So tonight is another great night. But before I move on, I'd like to say Happy Easter to you. Happy Easter, everyone. It's a celebration moment, and I believe it's a great one. So this night, it's a special one because I'll be hosting a guest to look at another angle of politics, of political participation and political engagement. This time around, we're taking it a notch higher, and it promises, as usual, to be another great session. So there's one aspect of our lives that really impacts greatly on politics, decision-making process, the actions of people in government, actions of politicians, and actions of the people themselves, and that is the media. The media seems to be the powerhouse. In fact, it's usually referred to as the fourth estate because of the influence it has on everyday life, the influence it has on the entire process of information exchange between the government and the governed, because of the influence it has in shaping the orientation of the people, in affecting and influencing political culture, how people react, how people act, what the people know, how they respond to decisions, actions, news, and a lot of things. So the media is not just a small game player in the scheme of things. The media actually is a big player. But there's been some dimensions of change with regards to the media, its composition and its operation in the last few decades, and that is what has brought up the concept of the new media. Of course, you would say that new media sounds new. Everything, there are new things every day, but notwithstanding, there is a real concept called the new media. And the new media captures a number of things, because we could have just said, oh, the social media, or you could have just said, oh, digital media. But when you say the new media, it encapsulates a lot more than necessary. It encapsulates generality of innovations, technological innovations, concepts, new development that have come to enhance the process of passing across information with regards to every aspect of life. But of course, this night, don't forget, because it is about nation building series, we'll be looking at it in the line of governance, in the line of government, in the line of policies, in the line of decisions, in the line of actions, even mobilization. When I say mobilization, I mean how people come together to champion a cause, to move in a particular direction and all that. So that is one of the power that the media has been able to exhibit in the last few, since its inception as a concept and as one of the as a force. But more importantly, like I said, the new media has taken a new dimension. So generally, the primary role of the media is in a democratic society is to inform the public. So let's set the foundation straight. The media serves to inform the public, providing citizens with information needed to make thoughtful decisions about leadership and policy. I like you to get that clearly. They provide the citizens with the information needed to make thoughtful decisions about leadership and policy. The media also act as watchdogs, checking government actions, government activities, government policies, and all that it entails and all that. So you will see that the government just pulls out a budget. This is 21 budget, for instance, and presents to the public. But beyond just presenting the public, and the work of the media further goes to giving details that may not have been communicated by the government to the public. Details of the budget. For example, you start hearing things like, oh, this is the allocation that is going to this ministry, this is the allocation that is moving into this parastatal, and then these are the things that they've said they want to use this allocation to do. So people start questioning. So it provides the basis for people to check the excesses of government, to also not just be informed but also to engage. And that's why the media cannot just be pushed aside in the scheme of things. Of course, one of the things the media also does is that they set the agenda for public discussion on issues. Beautiful. I can see everyone that has joined in so far. Ojomo, Olu John, Muritala Kenekemi, Ojereye, Oluwatosin. Thank you so much for everyone that has joined. I just want to say you're welcome. And this night is actually a special one because I won't be the one doling out the content this night. I'm just here as a host to interact, to ask questions from our guests, who I'll be bringing on in a few minutes from now. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I've been able to establish what the media does. But like I said, the concept of the new media is the new kid on the block. Is the in thing, especially now, because more than ever before, people can now understand properly. People can now engage. News have a lot of platforms through which they spread now. I mean, a lot of information here and there because there are numerous platforms. And like I said, these things are birthed alongside the many innovations that are happening with regards to technology and exposure. So I have a guest tonight with whom I will be doing this, delving into this matter. And he is no other person than the person who pushed out, I mean, on the flyer. If you've seen the flyer, his name is Mr. Ade Da Costa. I mean, he's one person that I am so sure will do justice to the many questions that we have on the topic, the new media, an inspiration or an inhibition to political participation and effective governance. And then I'll bring him on stage now. I like him to, I know he has joined this session already. I like him to try to request that I join. Okay, I'm bringing him on now right away. I will introduce him when he comes on. Just hold on as I bring on my guest. So while he comes on, good to see you, sir. Ojele Oluwatosin, thank you so much for joining. So it's a very delicate battle to achieve tonight with regards to the media and its role, really. So one of the observations, while I'm waiting for my guest to come on fully live, one of the observations in the last, okay, it's coming on. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So good to see you, sir.
Good evening, Femi. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir.
It's nice to be here.
It's such an honor. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much
for the privilege.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so just a minute, sir. I was trying to just establish a balance for this analysis or for this conversation tonight, and that is the fact that having observed the intensity, yes, that's the word, the intensity with which contents, with which platforms have have been doing a lot with regards to doling out content, with regards to spreading news, information, enlightening people politically, inspiring people towards governance, spreading of news, acting as watchdog or checkmate on the activities of government and all that. One observation, if you are careful to note this, is the fact that a lot of people are aware, more politically conscious now than many were maybe 10 years ago, even in Nigeria now. But unfortunately, this has not translated into political participation as it were. In fact, there seems to be more apathy than we had 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 1993, for instance, I would say that there was more activity with regards to participation, engagement. Even though it was a military system of government that was in operation, you saw an election that was held, you saw the percentage of voter turnout with regards to registered voter. You saw what it was in 2019, for instance. So, would it be that the more the information spread, the media spread, the new media takes control, the more people get politically non-interested when it comes to the activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, that seems to be just the introduction. Benga Stephen, thanks for joining. I would now want to introduce to you my guest tonight. I will not be able to roll out his profile because he's a man of many parts. However, he likes to keep things very simple. So I will introduce him simply as so, because I know he's someone who has had experience and has interacted very much well on the legacy media angle of things and also on the new media. So when I say legacy now, I'm talking of the blog, the newspaper, the traditional media settings, the TV stations, the radio. He's been a political analyst and a social commentator on a number of platforms. He's worked with some of these traditional media, and he's also doing some work with regards to the new media. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me again. My guest tonight is no other person again, like I said, than Mr. Ade Da Costa. He's a media practitioner and also a social commentator. Welcome again, sir. I'm so happy to see you again.
Femi, thanks so much. And I really want to thank you for the opportunity you have given me. And I hope this is going to go far to correcting some of the anomalies we have in our society. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So, sir, without wasting time at all, I'd like to ask you the very first question from an insider point of view. What is your own assessment of the rise of the new media? General assessment now, before we go into other little details. Thank you so much, sir.
Without unequivocally speaking, we should tell ourselves the truth. The new media is like a moving train. It's rising, and it's rising fast. It's permeating every sphere of life. It's controlling everything that has to do with us every day. It's setting a new agenda when it comes to the existence of human being on the face of the earth. But however, I want to say this, that I hope that we will not get our fingers burnt or our whole body burnt with the rise of the new media. We cannot do with the rise of, without the rise of the new media. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's a reality, it's the new normal. There is nothing we can do to stop it, but we can approach it from the point of view of morality. How do we make use of the new media? During your introduction, you are saying that there is so much apathy, political apathy in the society presently, despite the fact of the new media, despite the consciousness of the new media. But the question we should ask ourselves is that, what are the kind of information we are shunning out via all these platforms and the outlets of the new media? So if it's coming and it's not really mobilizing the people towards participating positively towards the building of the nation, then we need to sit down, rejig, retool, and think about how to amend some of the things that has to do with this. And that's where regulation comes in. You know, there's so much noise in this country when it comes to regulating the media. I know you know what happened with the National Assembly, with all the activists rising up and saying that you cannot regulate the new media. Yes, I have my fears as a citizen also of the world. I have my fears that when you start regulating in the new media, our intentions we might not be able to spell out our intentions, whether it's for the positive or the negative reason. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So, but we cannot but talk about regulating the media to an extent. The new media, we cannot but talk about regulation, because we have seen the negative effect of what we are talking about. And that is why, in an aspect also, we are talking about developmental. You know, there is a new concept there that is called the citizens journalism. Do you understand what I'm saying? In those days, you rely on the legacy media to break news. Something happens, it still takes some hours to break the news. But now, when things are happening at a particular location, just an ordinary citizen will just bring out his or her Android device and start recording. It can even go on live. You don't need to wait for the BBC, the CNN, the NTA, the channels to be the first to break it. People are there, they will break the news immediately. And at times, they do it without the professional touch, and we pay huge price for it. Thank you.
Would you not say, can you hear me clearly, sir?
And at times, I say that when citizens break news themselves, they do it without so much professional touch, and we pay heavy price for that. So can we say, can you hear me clearly, sir? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly. Oh, very good. And I should ask you too, can you hear me? Very clearly, perfect. Okay, that's interesting. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. So I will start. My next question will come from this point that you just raised. The fact that the direct approach of the spread of information, especially with the new media, would you say that is a disadvantage? Yeah, you mentioned professional touch, but like a lot of people would say, I don't want to use the word "who professional help," but truly the fact that the one you just gave example of sounds more direct. That, I mean, the person is bringing out content as it is happening, unlike fake news. Somebody just sitting somewhere and fabricating a development and spreading. So I want to still stay on this, because there are questions that we'll touch on with regards to spread of fake news and other things. But on this, an incident is happening. Someone, Femi Owoyele, thanks for joining us. Oyinda Mola, thank you. I can see you all. An incident is happening, and somebody directly is communicating that to the audience, regardless of whether, like you said, professional or somebody is trying to check and all those things. I mean, this is somebody transmitting live or transmitting what is happening to the audience. I mean, regardless of the platform the person is operating from. So would you say it's a disadvantage? Is there a need? Because this professional touch, and that's the next question now, this professional touch that you talked about has been criticized on the basis that the legacy media or traditional media have formed institutional barriers, or what you call gatekeepers, into allowing the effective communication of events as they are to the public. There's also an argument of the fact that some of these things, or some of these platforms, the regimented, the traditional media, are usually influenced, sometimes are even owned by politicians or people in government, whether directly or indirectly, and therefore information that comes out are usually regulated, are usually demystified, are usually diluted, are not something that the people need to really understand what is happening. So how do you balance this argument, especially when you talk about the touch of professionalism with journalism? Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, we are looking at the new media, an inspiration, inhibition to political participation and effective governance. Let's look at those two words. Can it be an inspiration or an inhibition? Femi, I'm not trying to deny the fact that the legacy media has had their challenges. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They have so much challenges. The challenge of ownership, it's a major challenge with the legacy media. Who is the owner? And we all say that whoever that pays the piper dictates the tune. So if you are having a radio station, if you're having a television station, it can determine how news is being reported on those TV or radio stations, or whether it's the print media. The ownership can determine how you relay your news, who you report, and from which angle. You know, for each news item, there are different angles from which it could be reported. So ownership can determine that. I am not denying that we have this challenge. But what I am saying concerning the new media is that the new media can either be an inspiration or an inhibition. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And that has to do with the general mindset of the populace, of the people living in a particular geographical location. Thank God that nowadays some of our social media platforms are shutting down individuals or some ideas that they consider so abusive or dangerous or that can hazardous to the peaceful coexistence of human beings. So what I am saying is that we still have to do something, we still have to regulate, we still have to put in some checks and balances. You are talking about the principle of gatekeeping. One of my lecturers told me in school when I was studying public relations as a course that you gatekeep. It's not every news or information you just pour out there indiscriminately. I am not talking about this, depriving the people the right to know, but there are some information at a particular stage that can be destructive to the peaceful coexistence or disruptive to the peaceful coexistence of the society. And that is why we have classified information. So information have been classified 10 years ago. They've been regarded as classified information 20, 40 years ago. But presently, they have been declassified because those that classified it believe now that the information is not injurious to the coexistence, peaceful coexistence of the society. And they disclassified it. What they just did was to gatekeep. When the information should be out and it will not help the growth of the society, they kept it back. When they felt there is no problem in releasing it, they released it. So do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't know whether you are really getting what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to the new media, it has to do with our values. Yes, can I give you an example? You get to the scene of an accident. The next thing you are doing is to bring out your phone and start recording people in pain, people that are dying. That's not that kind of value. It's not what we should celebrate. We should discourage that. Why do you want to show me people that are bleeding, people that need to be helped in their helpless state? Those kind of views are offensive. It should not be seen. So it has to do with our values. Everybody is priding him or herself in the fact that I have the means to put out information into the public over there, and that is not right. What kind of thing are you bringing out? Now, for example, with the fake news, we are bringing out a lot of news, a lot of information that is parochial, that is promoting ethnic sentiments, that is promoting disunity in the land, that is promoting political apathy, and we are experiencing it every day. Too much information out there. But when there is by-election or when there are major elections, we still have turnout of voters. How do you manage the two? Is that not a paradox or an irony? How do you relate to the two?
Sorry, if I may cut in, sir, I'd like to ask also, because I agree with you, especially to the extent that I said I agree with you, especially to the extent that information without understanding, just spreading information can create more confusion and can create more problems, and some things are actually unethical. I mean, beautifully said, sir. However, don't you think that these activities or these, I'll give an example, these responses are also happening as a result of the general I don't want to use the word regulation, the general acceptance, the prevailing value system that is in the society. That is on one side. I don't know if you get my question, but the real question is this. When you talk about this gatekeeping and all that, where do you put the place of trust? When a people finds a situation where, for example, you don't trust your government, We don't trust the people in power. There's been cases, evidences of manipulations, of corruption, of people sweeping things under the carpet over time and all that. And then you expect that when people have information that maybe they feel unguarded as it may, they should not pull it out because they have to be professional, or they also have to understand the ethics. Meanwhile, some of this information, I'll give you an example, sir. In 2000 and before the 2015 election, there's this platform, one of the major platforms, technology-driven platform, news media platform, was very out there in Nigeria and even some places in Africa, doling out content, voice notes, evidences of corruption, of somebody has acquired this, and they show pictures. They go to, sometimes they even go to the countries where the properties acquired by a Nigerian politician are kept, where they bring in video evidences, text evidences, audio evidences of activities and manipulations that are going on. So that led to the consciousness of a lot of Nigerians. That led to, I'm not saying, of course, they also brought out a number of things that were not guarded, not regulated, and they were later discovered to be exaggerated or even fake news, as it were. No doubt about that. But they were semblance of truth and proven cases of some of the things they brought out, sir. Because the Nigerians started seeing that, oh, this person or this politics or this personality in government that we assume is the big boy, is the big girl, and doing so well of all, and actually is actually stealing our common wealth, as it were. I mean, so somebody having access to billions and using it for personal. So if there was no, in quotes, that media platform, of course, a new media in the category of the new media, breaking news consistently and revealing things that were happening, do you think, and these things have actually helped to see some things for Nigerians and for the public, do you think that the bureaucracy, let me use the word bureaucracy, of the legacy media would have cautioned or would have helped us to know more? You could say, oh, maybe we Nigerians didn't deserve to know so much that we know, but some of the things that were revealed actually proved that, see, things are happening, and it can only take a new media to break such news. What do you think,
okay.
sir?
What I think is that, Femi, the question I'm going to start with a question. Are you listening to me? All those information that is being reeled out, the question I'm going to ask you is that, has it been promoting unity or so much mistrust among the citizens, for example, in Nigeria? Despite the fact that those informations were given, those secrets were revealed, now we have so much mistrust, we have so much parochial views. You see, we have a challenge with people that are obsessed with breaking news. That's another extreme. When you are about to break a news, did you verify? Is this a fake news or the correct thing that I should break that can enhance the growth of the society or the development of the society? I know presently people are talking, developmental journalism is a new concept. And in the last few years, it has become a concept. People are researching on it. People are going into it, and they are encouraging media people to practice developmental journalism. And that we have a responsible way of being a media man. And we have so much challenge. Where you have media men that work in media houses that have not been paid for 6 months, 1 year, how do you expect them to practice developmental journalism? How do you expect them not to be bedeviled with the brown envelope influences and things like that? So we have myriads of problems. We have myriads of issues. The new media in itself is no problem to our existence. It's no problem to our development. But the issue is that there are some other ancillary and attachments to the existence of the new media that we have to take care of. There is nothing wrong with the new media. When we start this session this evening, I had told you earlier that the new media is already a moving train. You can't stop it. But how can we maximize, optimize the existence and the availability of these platforms for the development of our society and the positive movement in our society? That is what we should be concerned about. But when you have journalists and citizens, you see, let me give you an example about our dear country. Can you see what is going on recently? The ethnic citizenship versus national citizenship. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
We are we are from this part of the country, and it played out also in the United States election. On the 6th of January, the Capitol Hill was stormed, majorly by many of these Proud Boys, Antifa group, and things like that. People that a lot of people regarded as the supporter of the former immediate past United States president. And a lot of this movement, you see, that's a lesson for America as a whole country, because they never expected that could happen. I cannot believe that a country like America, the Capitol insecurity could be breached to the extent that lawmakers has to take to their heels and run for their dear lives. A policeman was killed in that attack, if you could remember. And these people were mobilized via the social media. The 2011...
By their president.
By their president, the sitting president. The 2011-2012 Arab Springs, especially the Egyptian revolution that removed the former military ruler of Egypt. Remind me his name now. The former Egyptian president before Mohamed Morsi, that ruled from 1982 when Sahadat was Hosni Mubarak. That revolution that removed Hosni Mubarak was people were galvanized via the social media. So we cannot underestimate or undervalue and think that relegate the issue of social media. A lot of things could be done. Do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of things could be done that are positive via the social media, or whether you want to call it the new media, and a lot of negative things also can be done. But the balancing aspect of it is that what are the values with which a particular people in a particular geographical location are guided by? I told you, when you get to an accident scene, you should rescue the sanctity of life. The value of life should be what drives us in the first place. It's not bringing out our Android devices, iOS or any other devices, and start filming and broadcasting people in their helpless state. It's not right. That is a wrong value system. And that ought not to be encouraged. So that same thing that made somebody to be recording when he ought not to be recording and beaming that light to people is the same thing also that instigate people to put in information that will instigate people against each other on the social media. And I tell you, you can't blame some of them. Femi, you can't blame some of them. It's the mistrust. It's the mistrust. So we need to work against the mistrust. Even in the United States of America, America is more divided that the red region, the blue region. We saw what played out. Even with the new president, Joe Biden, in office, America is still highly divided because the mess of the last 4 years to clean it up. And a lot of them came through the social media. Remember the scandal, the sub-scandal that brought in, what's his name? Donald Trump in 2016. That the United States government believed so much that there is Russian interference that led to the closing down of a company that works for, maybe, I'm not sure, a company that works for one of these big social media companies that has been accused of working against the interest of the Democrats in that election. You remember Cambridge Analytica. The name of that company in England is Cambridge. As of today that I'm talking to you, Cambridge Analytica has been shut down because they felt it participated in the supposed, I have not verified it, supposed interference in the 2016 election that worked against the interest of the ordinary people. So it has to do, we should be guided with the right values, and everybody should take responsibility of what you really, or else it can either be an inspiration, which is very good, or it can also be an inhibition. Let me make one of my last points before I allow you to ask your next question. Let us take Rwanda, the genocide in Rwanda in the year 1994. The genocide in Rwanda was fueled majorly by journalists. Then there was no social media as we have it now. But it was the legacy, the traditional news outlets, especially the FM radios in Kigali. Some journalists will go on air and call some people cockroach. Some journalists will go on air and call some people label and other people. And that fueled the animosity and the mistrust between the Hutu and the Tutsis. And we all saw what happened in that 100 days. Over 500,000 people, is it 100 or 500,000 people massacred while the world stood by watching. If you travel to Kigali now, they will take you to the museum where we have hundreds of skulls of human beings that has been placed there to become a monument and for people to learn from their lesson. It was instigation via the radio. And a lot of journalists, some journalists in Rwanda are still in jail as I speak to you, jailed by the international court because of instigating the citizens against each other. So we need to watch this and to guide against it. If we will participate positively in politics. And let me tell you, the new media is a good platform to drive mobilization and participation in politics. We cannot do without it. All we are saying that we need the discipline, both the government and the governed. The people in government, if they want to regulate the new media, they should be sincere. Not because of the interest of a particular political party or the particular government in power. It should be based on sincerity. It should be based on good faith and forthrightness, and the governed, also the citizens of that country, should be ready to cooperate. We should be ready to drop our sentiments and biases when it comes to the issue. I'm wearing a pair of glasses, Femi. If my lens is in color green, is covered by color green, bring any color before me, it will be tainted by color green. Do you agree with me?
Very well, yes, sir.
Do you agree with me? That is the same thing that has happened to the mind of our average citizens now. Ethnic sentiments, tribal profiling, and things like that. So even when our government is very sincere, somebody is succumbing to ethnic sentiments and some other of those biases, and it will not augur well for the peaceful coexistence of the country. We should discourage that. Thank you.
So let me take you off, sir. Okay. So the next question is, do you think do you think your honest assessment, your honest opinion, do you think
should I underline the government, that? Honest opinion, honest assessment? Should
exactly.
I underline that in capital?
Yes, please do. Please do. Do you think that at any attempt now, because the last statement you made, I'm taking it off from there, any attempt to regulate the social, not just social media now, okay, let's just stay with social media. Social media, as it were, any attempt to regulate content posted on the social media, or let's just put it generally on the new media, will be the government in power, as you see it, will be sincere in addressing it. And I'll give you a basis for which I'm asking that question. In 2019, for example, one of the Nigerian senators moved a motion, or was trying to pull a bill through. And what is the bill? Anti-social media bill. Of course, the content had a lot of controversies with regards to the real intent and the perception of the people. And then the fact that even the bill, I mean, to some people was dead on arrival because it was, there were things that were codified. There were things that were not, and that is one of the fundamental issues with the drafting of bill and all these legislative processes at another level. That's not the matter for today. but the bill had a lot of flaws, did not capture some things, and can be, you know, when there's a lacuna or a vacuum in the in law, anything and anyhow can be interpreted into it. You know, we have a lot of interpretation. The lawyers will tell you we have a jus generis rule, all those rule of interpretation of statutes and all that. But that's not the point. The real point is, do you think, sir, that any attempt, of course, you know, people would revolt against that, any attempt to push for regulation by the government in power, do you think that they can be sincere, knowing fully well that issues that have propped up over the years have been issues challenging their integrity, challenging their responsibility, challenging the task for which they were elected at first to serve? That is on one side. I'll give another example. At the heat of the NSAS protest, of course, I agree with you, and this is why I will agree with you, sir. There were contents that were doled out. I'm not saying for or against, neither am I saying somebody is right or somebody is wrong. But obviously, there were contents that were doled out that were absolutely fake news. There were contents that were doled out that were exaggerated in terms of the perception with which those contents were driven. They were exaggerated, some were forced, they were just fabricated, and a lot of things. So it brought another, what do you call it now, intention to want to push for the social media, anti-social media bill for regulation. Now, my point really is the fear that generated was also that this same government, to a lot of young people, is not sincere. They will tell us this and they will do the other. I'm not speaking for or against. I'm just trying to establish the reason why people see that regulation, as it were, may also be tainted with selfishness and personal interest and all those things. So, what is your honest? I'm going back to the way I started the question.
Yes, yeah.
What is your honest assessment of this reality, especially when it comes to the issue of regulation?
Okay, thank you. In as much as we are not coming here to put the government on trial, that's not the focus. That's not the focus of this discussion, of this interview session. We are not here to put the government on trial. I would have wished you are asking me that. What's the probability that when there's another attempt to regulate the social media, that the Nigerian citizen or the populace will trust the government? But you are asking me that, how can I prove or how can I be sure that the government will be sincere? You know, presently as I talk to you, I'm not in government, so I cannot, I don't have the parameters or the yardstick to measure that. I cannot say, be here to mention their sincerity, rather. But what I am saying, in essence, is that we have a problem of mistrust. And the problem of mistrust we have between the government and the governed. Even if the government means well, they are coming and they mean so much, they are sincere at times, there are inherent information, sentiments, anger, biases, and different things like that in us that makes us to doubt that sincerity. And on the part of government, they have a duty to disabuse the mind of an average citizen of this country, so that when they are sincere, people can know that they are sincere. Like you say in law, that it's not that justice should be done. Justice must have been seen to have been done. Do you agree with me? And that is the same thing. So now, each step that the government is taking, I know government has a lot of, the Nigerian government has a lot of sincere things, good things, program that they are doing. But on each of those programs they want to do or they are doing, it must be seen, effort must be made so that the citizens must see it that they are very sincere. That is on their part. On the part of the governed, the citizens of this country, they also have to give them the benefit of doubt, but that does not mean we should not put check and balances in place. That does not mean that each citizen should not follow up to verify whether those things are true or whether those things are not true. But for us as citizens just to sit down and to disregard or to color it and to promote fake news, it will not pay anybody. It will not pay anybody. And that will not help the development of a particular place or the society. We have to work against that. But everybody has to be on guard. All hands has to be on deck. You see, it's not only in election that people show so much apathy in this country, Femi. We don't hold people to account. Do you understand what I'm saying? People get away with things. We don't hold people responsible for their actions. And we need to start doing it. Most of the time we talk about the government, even amongst ourselves. When things happen, we are human beings, afisuru, I don't like hearing that statement. Afisu, let us just leave it like that. Let's allow sleeping dog to lie. If we don't forget the matter of yesterday, we will not find another person to relate with and things like that. And because of that, we have watched things go haywire the way it ought not to go. So it's time that we start to hold people to account, make people to be responsible for their actions. If that is the ordinary culture within the people, that is what we are going to carry into government. If it does not exist at the level of the citizenry, there is no magic that is going to happen up there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now?
Well,
so that's my point.
Okay, sir. So let's talk about the business of journalism. I mean, in the post I put out with the flyer for this, I spoke about one of the things I mentioned was about the fact that traditional journalism is now being challenged in a way by the presence or the rise of the new media. What is your opinion, sir? Especially with regards to the continuity. Okay, I mean, the last 20 years, I would say, I've seen a competitive rise of the new media as against the traditional media. I mean, you would see that hardly do people buy newspaper. Of course, a lot of them too have lapped onto technological innovation, have websites, have platforms online, have social media platforms through which they also, but the truth also is that they are competing with a lot of platforms that necessarily do not need to have so much. I'm talking of competent players now in the new media space. I'm not talking of those that have blogs and just spread fake news and all that. How do you see, or what's your assessment of the future of the legacy media as we have it today? Knowing fully well that the world is becoming more digitalized almost on daily basis, knowing fully well that people actually, almost every information you need to get now, you just get it on the tip of your phone and all that. So what is the future of journalism, especially when it comes to the print, the TV and radio stations, not the I mean, as we have it, what do you see in the next 10 years? Exactly. What do you see in the next 10 years because of the wave?
You see, journalism, it's a noble profession.
Yes, sir.
I can only just imagine what the society could have been like without the existence of journalism. And if we want to look at the impact of the media, the traditional media from the days of television, radio, newspapers, mass mobilization tools, and things like that, you cannot underestimate their contribution to the development of the society in the right direction. Informing the people, galvanizing the people, educating the people, empowering the people via the profession of journalism. But I must tell you the truth. With what you are seeing, and many of these platforms today have no choice. Many of them also have digital platforms. They are online. You can read newspapers online anytime. Most of, even from now as we are talking now, some of the things you are going to read in the news, in the ad print, ad copy, tomorrow morning, you can start reading it online now from those news outlets, their websites. But I have to tell you the truth, it's pathetic. The legacy media has been bullied, and they has been bullied. They are being harassed into a corner by the rise of this new media. And when you see the errors, the blunders that people commit, if you know the tenets of journalism and the standard with which it should be, and you see the errors that are being committed daily by all these news outlets, digital news outlets with no address, permit me to put it like that, throwing to the wind without any caution all the standards, the ethics of true journalism, and the way they slander, the way they report issues, fake news, and things like that, it's not helping our society, it's not helping us as a people, and something has to be done. That it's not just the blanket regulation of the social media. The government can see to this sector and say, we want to check this kind of platforms so that they don't cause, before they cause issues that will be too heavy for us to handle, we can quickly nip it in the bud. We have seen a lot of fake news, a lot of lies, a lot of inaccurate news, a lot of unverified information being shunned out by all these outlets, and is harming. You see, you are not a journalist if you are not an historian. You are not a journalist if you cannot research. You are not a journalist if you cannot educate. The profession of journalism should do a lot of other things, inclusive of all those things that I have mentioned. But nobody wants to. These digital platforms, they don't want to pay the price, they don't want to research, they don't want to go into history. History will guide you into your future. They just bring out things wrong. And when you read those content, the standard with which those pieces are written, you ask yourself, where are we going? And this is not helping a lot of people just come out to call themselves. What qualifies you to be a journalist? That is the question we should ask ourselves. Yes, we know we have quack doctors, we have quack fake lawyers and things like that, but it's not as much as we have in the profession. Anybody just wake up one day because you have a blog, a social media influencer, or you have an online news outlet, or you can put some videos and things like that, and you start referring to yourself as a journalist. So even the qualification, how journalists emerge, people in the media profession, how do they emerge? The process of their emerging into the profession is also part of the problem we are dealing with. Because I cannot tie down a job elsewhere, and I've been to school, I can write few paragraphs, or I can speak good English, and I have an Android phone, access to some megabytes and things like that, and I can design some graphics, and you start calling yourself journalist, and you start putting things that are injurious to the peaceful coexistence of the society out there, unbridled, indiscriminate releasing of those kind of information, and this is hampering the work of true journalism, because some people innocently, some people cannot decipher between the correct one and the wrong one.
Absolutely.
And remember, those people that buy newspapers every day, the number has reduced so much. Even some of our major newspapers, the number of pages have reduced so much because they expect you to go and read online to visit their platforms. And and we have a lot of, you see, I don't want to mention names, apart from the online version of some of these traditional legacy media we are talking about. We have also some of these, permit me to use, afternoon outlets that just came out yesterday, throwing all caution to the wind and just putting it out like that. And more people are reading it. Femi, don't let us deceive ourselves. here tonight, they have lots of, is it readership I should call now, or followership online?
Yes, sir.
And how do you disabuse the minds of people when they have taken in wrong information?
Absolutely, I agree with you, sir. So,
Yeah.
however, the balance also now falls to the fact that the society accepts largely whatever is thrown in quotes at it. There is always a set of people that accept, regardless of. I mean, I belong to a few platforms that when information like this are put out, I just have to correct where opportunity affords me that, see, this is an unverified news you are breaking, so it is not breaking news. This is not right. Sometimes I go do a bit of research, then repost back to correct both the person who had posted and to also inform the people.
If
so
we have lots of Nigerians that are doing that, some people will desist from promoting fake news. When you know that one, you see, when it comes to fake news, people are obsessed, people are emotional about it. People just want to be part of what is going on online. It seems there is this virtual life that we are living more than the actual life that we are living before. You see, you think it adds to your ego, your status, that you are present online, you say something online, or you say something about what is trending online. And that is not the issue. If the majority is going the wrong way, you should have the guts to stand alone and say, no, this is not right. This is an unverified information, and I'm not going to be part of it. And if you have more people doing that, we can discourage the fake news.
Thank you so much, sir. So I actually intend that we end this session, and I think we have just about 2 minutes. I really desire, because I want it to be within 1 hour. I really wish that we could continue, because there are a few perspectives I still want to push to you. But sir, we will do this again. I just want to let you know this. We will do this again. It's been a beautiful session, an interesting one. In fact, for me personally, it's been so enlightening. It's been really enlightening, and I've learned so much. However, I would still like us to delve into a few issues around this same subject matter, but we'll find time to do this again. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'm so grateful. Wow, what a session, guys. I actually wanted us to have questions. I ought to have said that before now, but subsequently, we'll have questions. You're free to post questions. You're free to share your content. You're also free to contribute through the platform. Thank you for joining. I've seen a lot of people join. Now, this is a special edition. It's called April Special Edition. This is the first one. And I want to say that I also believe, for everyone that has joined, that it has been indeed enlightening. It has been worth your time. It has passed values onto you, and you've learned 1 or 2 things. So join us next Sunday. I mean, next week is going to be another beautiful session, because the person we'll be bringing on, you will see, I'll put out the flyers in a few days, maybe in another 48 hours, and you will see that there's so much and so much to learn, so much to know. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen that have joined in, and those that are still watching or will be watching this much later. God bless you. Have a beautiful week. Once again, happy Easter. I wish you all the very best. But in all that you do, be a citizen that adds value. Be a citizen whose service is genuine and is towards making Nigeria great again, making the society beautiful again, and then do your own part. God bless you. Have a beautiful week. Thank you so much.